Hey guys, okay, so I have no idea what's going on here. For some reason, I think I'm live, but I'm not sure if it's going through. But if it is, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Think Like a Copywriter. It's me, Adil Amarsi, and we have the website live. Thinklikeacopywriter.com is currently live. It is kicking and it is kicking ass. So that being said, please head on over there to actually get um on the mailing list. So whenever I do these, I actually put them out. I will one day get started at exactly 3 p.m. and be live rather than screw around with technology. But still, I think the first couple of weeks, I'm still having issues. Like the first 2 weeks is fine. I'll get around it. Anyway, so thank you for all the well wishes and all the happy thoughts that came in this week. Considering I couldn't do the Wednesday show, I appreciate everyone that actually reached out to me very, 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 very much. And as always, I am a huge fan of delivering this show. Now, that being said, there is something I do need to preface before we get started. There is a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. I am actually doing the one thing I thought I would never do, and that is a challenge. And that is essentially, I'm going to be teaching you guys, whoever takes part in this challenge, it's on May 1st. It's the first 2 weeks of May. And what we're doing is I'm going to be helping you over 14 days write your email sequence, like your welcome sequence. Now, the crazy thing is there's like a few different products here and there and everywhere, but like, as always, I lay out the entire lead flow. So you'll see exactly what's in there and why it's put together. But more specifically, I'm going to get into that later on in another episode as we get closer, because I want to actually show you how it works, because I want you to do this for your business. Like, so if you go through if you actually become a member of the challenge, excellent. But even if you don't, I want you to use the information to go ahead and see how you could actually use it to benefit and profit, which is always a win for both of us, because it makes me look like a celebrity. And more importantly, I look like I know what I'm doing, but also it benefits you guys because, you're serving your customers. So with that being said, let's hop into episode 5 today, where we're going to be covering just a couple of cool kick-ass things. Namely, what we're going to be going into is what a copywriter's role truly is, and specifically, we're going to be taking answers from the audience that you guys submitted a couple of days ago, which is pretty cool. And there's a second point which I'm going to go and not so slyly check out and see if we can find, because why wouldn't you? But the actual second thing we're going to be covering is why people are still not buying from you, and it's not coronavirus's fault, and specifically what you can do about that. Now, that is something that very few people actually even want to talk about, let alone get into and discuss, but we're going to get into that today. And I need to get better at writing the show notes for this, really, I do, for titles. So here we go for today's episode. So right away, what is the role of a copywriter? Now, a copywriter has multiple roles. Traditionally, our jobs are basically to create direct response and those types of people, the other type of copywriters that work. Brand types, you guys, this isn't for you, sorry. I mean, you can listen in, but you guys have a whole different definition of what your job is. Our job is direct response and story selling and story-based direct response copywriters, we like to call ourselves. Our job only comes down to one simple thing, and that is, it is to help you understand and translate your story and message to your audience in a persuasive way that is both logical and emotional, to get them to say yes and get a result. That is our entire job. That's all we do. But it has layers. It's a big job. It's like the descript is like quite easy to describe, but the layers are insane, because we got to be able to write the copy. We need to be able to do the research. We need to understand what your product is about. We need to be able to tell your story better than you can tell your story, and get it in a way that's emotionally hooked in writing, on tape, or wherever else you see it, even on video. Then on top of that, we also have to be the chief strategist of your entire funnel, because a good copywriter and a great copywriter, they know basic funnel elements. They know how to build all those pages. They know how to go from A to B to C to D, all the way to Z. They know all the ins and outs. They should be able to do this. That is what a copywriter's role is. They should be able to handle every single aspect, or at least that's what it was when I started. When I started off, you had to know exactly how to get the mailings out. You knew how to actually run the ads. You knew how to do basically every single part of your client's business, because you knew what process it had to go through and different areas the ads had to run through in order to get approved, and even like be mailed out. Now, of course, I'm talking direct response days. I did very little of that. But my thing was more when we were doing digital stuff. I had to understand how like landing pages are set up, so then we can actually run ads to them through Google, through Facebook, through lists, through solo ads, through traffic exchanges, and then go all the way through. It is insane how simple it is to actually build these different areas and actually have them work out for you, essentially. Like build these different funnels and have them work for you, because you get experience in each one. And that's always the most powerful thing, because if you don't realize that's your true role, you can never truly fulfill it. Now, the second thing I really want to get into right after this, the second part of the role, is that when you actually really understand these concepts, you actually become far more valuable to your client rather than someone that just writes letters for them. The second point that I was saying was why people don't want to buy your services, and I really want to get into this because it's very, 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 very incredibly powerful. If you don't understand this, the reason people aren't buying from you is because there's a trust barrier that they haven't crossed over yet. And it really comes down to where you're speaking from. So if you're speaking from your heart, people will buy from you. If you're speaking from your mind, they will only listen intellectually. If you're speaking from the wallet, they will not actually want to go near you. It's very much that whole thing of like, people can sense desperation, and you don't want that. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, another light source in here, always fun. So one of the other things that I really wanted to discuss, like the way that you actually turn that around, is that you have to show up and show that you care. People don't care what you know until they know you care. That is an old saying, and it's one that actually works with reason, and it actually has purpose, because it means people actually want to know who you are. They want to know what you do. Then more importantly, they want to be able to know that you care. If you care about them, they will give you money. They will actually work with you. They will actually become some of the best clients you have. It's how I do it. But how do you cultivate that? Well, first of all, find your best clients and just start doing things. Ask them how you can help them out. See how you can reach out to your heroes and ask them how you can be of service to them and their audiences. Go to different groups, drop value, give information, tell good stories, make people laugh. Do all these things, and I'll guarantee you right now, if you do all these things, you'll start seeing people will start flocking towards you. But you got to be a little bit strategic about it. There is an element of strategy, and the reason people aren't buying is not because they're scared. There is scarcity mindsets, and people are scared a little bit. But it's because also on top of that whole thing of they don't really know you, they don't really like you, and they don't really trust you, at least one of those three, there's like something that's off. The other aspect is that your marketing isn't correct. If your marketing, as so many people said, if you're marketing the same way that you were right before this whole thing kind of kicked off, that shit ain't gonna fly. You need to start showing up and doing things where people really know that you care, that you really are there for them. You need to be able to handhold. You need to be able to support. You're basically essentially a self-help coach coupled in with whatever you're doing, because you need to actually get them out of that thought process. Dan Candy loves talking about this. He calls it the belief change. You need to get people to go back to believing that things are possible. And once they do so, you'll start seeing people come towards you. Now, obviously, there's like the world, we're going to come out of this. Okay. I'm just going to tell you right now, we're going to come out of this. Not all of us, some of us, unfortunately, won't, because, you know, life and law of averages, which is a little bit morbid to say. But the reality is that we are going to come out of this. We are the human race. We have been here for a very long time, and we will continue moving forward past this pandemic. But where you prepare yourself to land on the outside, on the onset in 90 days time, is entirely up to you. And that's the reason why it is your duty and your job, just like it is my duty and my job, to show up and help people by marketing yourself in a way as a helping hand that is genuinely there to actually give an assistance and still be paid for it, by the way. That's the thing. I'm not saying do this for free, because there are a lot of people that are price slashing, they're doing shit for free. I don't agree with that, because that's how you stall out an economy. I'm not an economist, but I do know that if there is no money being transferred around, shit doesn't work, and stagnation does not work in finances. It's either building or it's depressing, one of the two. And I interviewed someone about this yesterday. It was actually brilliant. Anyway, so there is a lot there that has to be said about why people aren't buying and how you can market yourself. One of the key areas is find your stories that relate to exactly the time that you've gone through a previous recession, or more importantly, find a story that's going on right now in your exact existing life at home, and share what's happening to you and how you're dealing with it. By doing so, you inspire your audience to do the exact same thing. By doing so, you end up getting more and more people on board with you and your ideology and what you want to basically put out there. It is a very simple way of building rapport with your audience. So all you need to do is tell that story that best relates to their situation and how you can help them. And that could also just be a helping hand. Listen, you know, my relationship's screwing up, whatever it is. There's a bunch of ways that you can help. So that's essentially what you really got to look at. Now, the other aspects that I had on this show was I was going to take a couple of questions, and they've actually thankfully been asked prior. One of them came from a longtime fan of the show, of course, Brendan, and of course, the owner's Bogdan. So Brendan basically asked, he'd love to know how I can know pre-testing if copy is good. Well, I never really know. I kind of go by feeling. But the way that you can do this is you can have a number of factors in your pathway once you've had experience. Like, excuse me. Like, for instance, whenever I use the structure I designed and developed in my 17.5 system and in the copywriter's room, as well as all my other trainings, um, these structures have actually come from like years and years of studying what people do and how they speak and how they read the copy back in their own heads when they're reading copy in order to actually get them to say yes. So it's a lot of split testing. But the way that you get good at that is by writing all the time. Study great letters, study what great advertising is, look at like statistics and like what averages are and what people are going through. The only reason I know things convert when they go out at times is because I have the confidence to, B, I've just had very, very good luck in what I do, but I always look at the preparation, see how I can best prepare that. Does every campaign I do work? No, I've lost a bunch as well. Out of the 13,000 plus campaigns I've written over the last 12 years of my career, I think I've lost like 200 or 300 of them, like out of like 13,000. So not a bad, not a bad rep. But at the same time, it's kind of like those still haunt me. But they were all great lessons in what I could do in order to get better in the next trials. And sometimes what you think works doesn't work. And sometimes what you think will never work surprises you and brings in the most money. It's ridiculous. It's the reason why, again, when I talked to you guys on Monday about what the Think Like a Copywriter email challenge is, I'll give you guys the full ins and outs of why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, and I'll even show you the sales letter if you want. By the way, actually, let's put that to poll. If you want me on Monday, the 20th, 420 itself, to show you the exact breakdown in a special 30-minute episode of how I wrote the letter, what the upsell flows are, and what every part of the challenge looks like. If you want me to do that, just give me a thumbs up, say hell's yes. Basically, let me know somehow below. It just helps me really understand. That being said, the other question I got from Bogdan was, of course, what's it called? What type of copy should a new copywriter focus on? Emails, editorials, ads, VSLs, what would they recommend to start with? Me personally, I am a sucker for going for sales letters, old school sales letters. The reason is because they're the written word. If you truly understand the written word better than anything else, because that is all you're writing, it is in the lowest form of persuasion, because it goes face to face, and then of course you got video, then it's like voice, like hear someone's voice, and then finally it's a written thing. That is the hardest thing to master. Once you get that and understand how to do that in sales letter, guess what? You can now transfer those skills over to emails, onto editorials, onto everything. It is the Rosetta Stone. Again, this goes back to the reason why I teach just the sales letter in the copywriter's room and not anything else. The reason this is an email writing challenge is because I have the structures ready to help people, that actually help, as long as you can basically write English, I can show you how to do this. Because we're not going to be going into like the substructures of everything I do and how I create substructures in copy. But essentially through the trainings, through anything I put out, you should be getting better. And it doesn't really just serve that one form. It's a multivariant of different things as well. So you just want to be very aware. You want to be well-rounded, but start with sales letters and then pick something else and get good at that. So then if you go sales letters, video sales letters, that's a great way of doing it. So that being said, if you guys have any more questions, please go ahead and put them down below. Please let me know what you think about my idea on Monday to show you the entirety of the Think Like a Copywriter idea that I'm actually writing out, and what the challenge will entail and why, and how you can go ahead and use it right away. It's all that. So let me know. And as always, guys, go check out thinklikeacopywriter.com. It's just an opt-in page at the moment. Put your name, put your email address in. I was going to say name, but put your email address in, and you should be able to get updates over the weekend and every other couple of days when the show is going to live and going to go live, what we're going to cover, and a chance to ask questions ahead of time. Anyway, guys, I think you might have to confirm opt-in, by the way, just a heads up. If you do, cool, please confirm, check your spam. If not, no worries, that's cool. It means that we've actually got you on board in the system. And yeah, guys, have an amazing weekend. I will see you on Monday. I hope you guys have an incredible time chilling out with family. And for those that know what went on with me this week, I'm actually going to be doing the exact same thing, where I just relax and spend a little bit of time with some people I care about. Anyway, guys, take care and speak to you soon.